Welcome back, everybody. You are listening to Two Blue and OSU, the ultimate sports podcast for your entertainment. I'm your host, Zach. We took a little break because Morgan decided to take a family vacation, and he decided that family time was more important than talking sports with us.
No, you. I was ready to go, and then you're like, oh no, at the same time because every day was different. We went to Florida, we went to Panama City, which it rained every flipping day. Every day it was raining, so it wasn't the best weather-wise. But we had a nice three-story house, the beach view. Woke up about. I mean, I woke up early every day, but about 11 o'clock, had a beer in my hand, sitting on the second deck, looking at the ocean. So I got to enjoy it. It was my first vacation since I was like a little kid out of Ohio, aside from the Navy. So I do appreciate you guys letting me enjoy it. But I was ready to go. I just didn't know what time. But you said, no, forget it.
I didn't say anything like that. I demanded you showed up, and you said, no, I want to be with my family. So your priorities
Shut
are
up.
your priorities are obviously fucked. Okay.
Shut up.
Hanging out with family over talking sports with me. Forget Ryan. Me. That's the terrible Buckeye Morgan. I'm
Says
also joined.
says says the guy who had to go to dinner with his wife.
Yes. which, which, speaking of dinner, how about that cake and cookies that you baked for your wife the other day? You cannot tell me you baked that all by yourself.
I didn't
I
bake.
don't believe that for a
I
minute.
didn't bake any of it. That's all store bought. What the fuck?
No, yeah, yeah, no shit. That's some store-bought cookies right there.
Yeah, it was her birthday, so I splurged on her. I got her I got her a full Coke instead of a Diet Coke. I'm joined. I'm joined
You got her
today.
a cherry coke.
Yeah, I had that extra flavor in it. You're welcome. Joined today by my fellow Michigan man, Ryan. What's up, man? You're actually wearing Michigan today, for once.
I am wearing Michigan today. Finally, you guys are getting at me about that for a few weeks now, but yeah, I'm good, man. I'm down in Virginia again at another school, so ready to get back to Florida and enjoy the nice weather down there.
He's a go-getter in the Navy, folks. He's always furthering his career, accelerating his life.
Hey, man, I'm
Joe Navy.
trying to make money right here.
Good on you. So we were going to talk about all of the conferences and break down all of them, and then we came to with Morgan on vacation and some other personal things that may have came up. Not my fault. We decided we weren't going to waste our time on conferences that we don't even really care about that much. I mean, we care about college football overall, but talking Pac-12 would just be as boring as the SEC conversation was. So we figured we'd jump right into the Big Ten for obvious reasons, and we'll get into some breakdowns of Week 1 matchups next week, and also talk a little NFL. But this week it's all Big Ten all the time, and like we did with the SEC, we're going to start off with the worst team today, guys. The worst team in the history of ever, and that is Ohio.
I thought we was gonna save the best two for last.
Why would I? What? The best one is Michigan, and no, no.
There's no best two. You're best or you're not.
Yeah,
That's all there is to it.
there's only Michigan,
Well,
and then everybody else.
well, I figured our name is Two Blue and OSU that we would save those two for last since they're our title. But if you want to start with the best first, then that's fine with me.
No, the worst first.
I mean, we can start with Ohio State, then we'll just start right at the top, and then let's go straight downhill from there. So if you want to go there, then we'll go there.
Well, I figured we'd let people have time to go get drinks and to take a shit and run around the house before we got into some real football talk.
Well, they would have plenty of time to do that once we get done talking Ohio State. They're gonna have the rest of the episode to go take a shit.
We'll,
We can
we'll,
start with Ohio State first, and then give everybody about 40 minutes to take a shit, take a shower, and then come back and listen to our ending.
if it takes that long to get through this, then we suck at our jobs. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with Ohio State. Morgan, I'm gonna let you take it off. This is your team. I hate them. I think they're gonna be shit this year. Probably win maybe 2 games. So I'll let you kick it off and tell everybody a little bit about your squad this year going in.
First off, you're not only going to give them 2 wins because let's be realistic, that's not going to happen. They are only returning 6 seniors, which does not look good on them. I think the hardest thing about doing this was not being biased to my team and being realistic. So after I say this, I was realistic. They got Barrett and F line. They got Barrett quarterback and F line under center. So they got 2 guys that have some experience playing some big games too. So that's a plus for them. Then they got Billy Price on the offensive line too. So, but other than that, their offensive line is going to be pretty young. They'll probably have Isaiah Prince on one side. I'm not too sure who will be on the other side.
It's looking like Jones right now, is what people are saying. Jermaine Jones. Or Jamarco Jones, excuse me.
Yeah. I seen Jamarco Jones. Brandon Bowen is second on the depth chart. He's a redshirt freshman. So probably one of those 2. Knox is in there. So I think that'll be a by committee depending on how they play the first couple games. Running back, I expect it to be Weber. It was between Weber and Briante Dunn, but Briante Dunn just got kicked off the team recently. So it's looking like it'll be Weber and Curtis Samuel. But Curtis Samuel will be kind of that H-back, kind of spread out into the slot type of role because they want him to be more of a slot guy than anything. So it's looking like it'll be Weber for this year and the foreseeable years. The wide receiver, a lot of people are talking about Corey Smith and Noah Brown. They're both coming back. Marcus Ball is at tight end. He's a big-time target for Barrett. A lot of people are not talking about Torrance Gibson. He had a hell of a spring game. He made a couple nice catches. I think Torrance Gibson will be a name that you need to remember. So by about week 4, week 5, when you start hearing a lot about Torrance Gibson, you heard it here first.
Hold on. Before you go any further. Now, did he look good the spring game with the number 2s?
I mean, he had Burrows throwing to him. So he had a backup throwing to him and was still making plays.
Yeah, that's the number 2s on number 2s. That's how spring games work. Your number 2s play against number 2s. So he looked good against your secondary scrubs, is what you're saying. Okay, all right. I just want to clear that up for our listeners.
No, shut up. It was just some of his catches that he made. I mean, Burrows is a hell of a backup quarterback for him. So I'm not worried if Barrett goes down. Burrows will step in nicely for him. But yes, it is just a spring game. Just like Michigan fans get pumped every year because they win the spring game. That's the only thing they win every year is their spring game.
We won 10 games last year.
Yeah, well, you didn't win the big one, so it don't matter. So
did you?
Well, the big one has the game. I'm dumb. When I say big one, I mean the game. No, we didn't go to that game because we choked it against Michigan State. But I could spend a whole episode talking about that flipping Michigan State game. That pissed me off. Anyways, I think Torrance Gibson will find his way in there, the quarterback turned wide receiver. So I think the offense will be all right once they start clicking. I'm not too worried. Their defense, their defensive line, I don't know how it's going to be right away. They got Tyquan Lewis and Sam Hubbard and Michael Hill. They were all one-time starters at some point in time in the season. A big name is Nick Bosa. He wasn't there for spring game. He missed a lot of time. But they say he's far ahead of his brother Joey. Even coming out of high school, he's bigger, stronger, faster than what Joey Bosa was. So I'm real anxious to see Nick Bosa play. Their linebacking core, I think, could go down as top 3, if not one of the best at the Ohio State. They got Mick Millen, who's one of my favorite Buckeye players. Him, Dante Booker, Chris Worley. They're all first on the depth chart that I was looking at. Some names that I think will get a lot of playing time. One of them is Justin Hillard. He's a freshman. He was a big-time guy for us that we got. And then Jerome Baker made a ridiculous one-handed interception on J.T. Barrett in our spring game. It was a hell of a play from the linebacker spot. So I definitely look for Jerome Baker to get a lot of playing time. Secondary. I mean, we lost Apple and Bell. I was never really high on Eli Apple. Like I was never really high on Bradley Roby. Bradley Roby's having an excellent career so far with the Broncos, but I didn't think he was all that great for the Buckeyes. That's the same with Eli Apple. But I think Conley will step in nice. Malik Hooker will be a big-time player for us. They got Cam Burrows, who's back there. Eric Smith finally should get his playing time. Marshon Lattimore is a redshirt sophomore. So we're a young team. We only got 6 seniors on the roster. So a lot of young talent, a lot of young guys, which is what happened a few years ago when we won the national championship. So I'm not too worried. They have some tough schedules. They're at Oklahoma, at Wisconsin, at Penn State, at Michigan State, if you want to consider Michigan State a tough one. They got Nebraska, Michigan at home, and Indiana at home. They got Wisconsin and Penn State back-to-back, so that could be a tough 2 games for them going to Madison and to Penn State. I have them going 11-1. Their one loss, I think, will be to Oklahoma. That's really early on in the season, which I'm okay with that loss because then it gives them time to come to kind of climb back up, like what happened the year we won a championship. So I'm looking for a repeat of just a few years ago is what I'm looking for. Now I know you guys are going to be down on them because you're a lot higher on Michigan, but one of these years, Michigan will beat Ohio State. I know it's going to happen. It's only a matter of time. I just hope it's not this year.
Listen how the language has changed now, Ryan. I hope it's not gonna be this year. Every year prior, it's not gonna be this year. Now it's I hope it's not gonna be this year.
Well, no shit. I mean,
He's got Harbaugh fever. He's got Harbaugh fever.
Shut up. I'm being a realistic here. I'm being a podcaster. That's what you want to fucking call us. So Michigan does look like a better team. They could give us a run for our money when they come to the horseshoe. Will they win? I don't know. But, I mean, we're not going to win every year. I mean, let's be honest. We're not going to win every freaking year the rest of my life. At some point in time, Michigan's going to pull one out of their ass and win. It could be this year.
Pull one out of our ass. Listen to you.
Michigan looks like the better team, but if they win, they just pulled it out of their ass. I'm sure they got lucky. It's not that they were superior talent, but no, they pulled it out of their ass. Go fuck yourself.
I didn't say that they look like a better team to us. They look like a better Michigan team, but
you're done talking. Ryan, why don't you give us a little breakdown of Ohio? I almost said it. I almost cursed on our podcast. My bad, guys.
Yeah, they lost a lot of players in the draft this season, which is definitely going to hurt them. The offense is really going to come down to how well Barrett can run it and lead the team. What I was reading today was that they plan on having Curtis Samuel as hopefully filling the number 1 receiver spot because he comes in as the most experienced receiver returning to the team this year. Whether he fills that slot, I don't know. But, I mean, it's going to be dependent on him and Barrett really to run the offense. And their running back play is going to have to be – it's not going to be what it was last year by far. I mean, it's going to downgrade without Elliott. And, I mean, it's going to be a rough season for them. Like Morgan said, their linebacking core is solid. And Raekwon McMillan coming back is probably one of the best linebackers they have. I don't think they're going to have a terrible season. I have them going 10-2, and their losses being to Michigan and Wisconsin. So I do have them beating Oklahoma, but I don't think they're going to get past Michigan or Wisconsin.
Morgan, your thoughts on that?
I don't like Curtis Samuel being the number 1 wide receiver. He's He's a fast guy, but I think once Noah Brown and Corey Smith kind of get going, and then once they start putting in Torrance Gibson a lot more, um, Urban Meyer loves Curtis Samuel, but he doesn't give him the ball as much as he talks about wanting to. He's more. He'll be in that role of what we wanted Johnny Dixon to be, and Johnny Dixon's never lived up to that hype yet. So I see him being kind of coming out of the backfield, kind of spread out, being in the slot type of guy.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be able to fill that role. I mean, that's what they want him to be. Whether he can stand up to it and live up to the expectations, I mean, time will tell. But
All right. So, Morgan, when was OSU at their worst offensively last year? Like, when did you always lose your shit on Facebook?
Every game.
Well, I mean, like what took place, or what didn't take place, I should say, that made you lose your mind?
um, I I feel like they had so many weapons that they tried to make everybody happy instead of being simple and turning around and handing the ball off, which
To
they
who?
needed to do over and over again. Elliott,
Why did they lose to MSU?
because they tried to play stupid and feed him the ball enough. That's why he was pissed. They tried this quarterback
'Cause-
option shit, and he kept it every time.
So who ran
Urban
that?
Meyer tries to get cute.
Who ran that offense last year? When you guys were at your best when who got the ball?
Ezekiel Elliott.
And JT Barrett, when he tried to do too much, what was your response?
You see that drove me crazy because I was I was always really high on Cardell Jones. That's why when Barrett went down, I wasn't worried about Cardell Jones coming in. Last year he tried to go, okay, well we'll go with Jones one game, then we'll go with Barrett one game, then we'll go with Jones one game. Then it's like Barrett was in there and he tried to do a whole lot by himself because he wanted that starting role. So I think this year he'll play a little better because he doesn't have to look over his shoulder.
All
But
right.
yeah, Barrett did try to do a whole lot and it drove me freaking nuts.
So who do you think is my belief of who the most important person going into the season is going to be?
Aside from Tom Herman a few years ago, JT Barrett,
Negative. Mike Weber.
Weber.
Ezekiel Elliott made Barrett better than what he really is. Let's be honest. People were so afraid of Elliott that Barrett had some free runs. You'd see linebackers, especially in Michigan game, where they would overflow on the zone read to Elliott, and Barrett had wide open holes.
Nope.
You guys don't have Elliott anymore. Mike Weber has to step into, and I don't think he has the speed that Elliott has. I don't think it's anywhere close of a downhill runner. He's a downhill runner, but I don't think at the same caliber as Elliott. But he doesn't need to be. He just needs to be a solid threat, and he needs to stay healthy. We saw last year when Barrett tried to do too much, when he had too much on his plate, the OSU offense was mediocre at best, terrible at worst. So Mike Weber comes in as the most important role in my opinion. I'm not worried about the skill guys in the Urban Meyer offense. Urban Meyer finds skill guys. He finds them to freaking woodwork. All right, he turns nothing into gold on the outside. He finds athletes. He puts them out there and he lets them do what they do best: be athletes. Barrett concerns me because Barrett likes to take too many risks. He likes to try to make too many plays, and I think it's going to cost them, especially in the Oklahoma game early on. But my big concern for the OSU offense is whether Mike Weber can produce near to the level of Elliott and stay healthy. Because if he doesn't, I think OSU's offense is going to be lackluster, if not piss poor.
I mean, I can't argue with that because without Briante Dunn, let's say Weber does get hurt, and then you're counting on Curtis Samuel, who you're running out in the slot a lot more than he is at running back. So you're going to have to depend on Curtis Samuel coming in to be running back when that's kind of not what he is a whole lot in this offense. I mean, then you definitely throw a whole lot on Barrett's shoulders, and then you're definitely looking for Barrett to run a whole lot more, which he's injury prone too.
Yep. So I can see OSU doing good things because they have talent. Let's not be assholes. They have talent. They have good players. Mike Weber, and we just lost Ryan.
We did. I was wondering what happened. I was looking at the other screen.
We'll keep talking until he comes back. So,
right.
Mike Weber, when he came out, I even told you I thought he was, even after he decommitted from Michigan and picked OSU, I said he's my favorite running back in that class. So I think he has the talent. I'm not too concerned about that. Defensively, McMillan's going to run the show in the middle. You bring back your leading sack guy in Lewis. Bosa, the baby Bosa, people say he's bigger, stronger, faster than his brother coming out of high school. But what made Joey Bosa so great wasn't just that. He was also really, really good with his hands and had that ability to get the offensive lineman's hands off him and then have that quick step. And we don't know what Nick Bosa's hand ability is yet. Especially he's never gone against, offensive linemen like he's going to see in the Big Ten, let's be honest. So, and Marshon Lattimore is somebody I'm interested in seeing this year in the back end for OSU. But he's going to have to grow up pretty quick. He's a redshirt sophomore, so he's been there for 3 years. But this is his first chance to really get some limelight. He's a bigger guy. We'll see how he does. And they're going to be tested early. Oklahoma, Indiana passes the ball a lot. Tulsa throws the ball a heck of a lot. So that back end is going to be tested quite a bit.
I mean, this is definitely one of the hardest schedules that they had. In some years. Starting just right off the bat. You really can't argue with them having a weak schedule for this year. So hopefully, having a bit tougher schedule, kind of plays out in our favor. Because if we do drop that 1-2 Oklahoma, if Oklahoma goes to Houston and wins, then Oklahoma will obviously they might jump up a few spots. And then let's say we lose to Oklahoma, but then we can kind of, win out the rest of the season and Oklahoma kind of wins out. Okay, then we lost to 11-1, 12-0 team. We won the Big Ten. So I'm not too worried about the Oklahoma game, but we need Oklahoma to beat Houston is what we need. If Houston beats Oklahoma, then we lose to Oklahoma. Our season could be done in the third game.
Well, I don't see that as your only loss. I have them going 10-2 as well, and losing to, of course, Michigan. I have to pick this year. You have when you keep losing, you got to keep picking. One of these times.
Yeah, one of these times it'll work. No, like I said, this is doing this research. You kind of look at, end up look at all the teams, and I don't want to jump ahead to Michigan, but they're not going to be a slouch for this year.
It's one of those.
Quarterback.
I'm going to be honest. It's one of those games where I wish it was week 1 for us, because I think week 1 we'd beat you guys pretty good. I think we'd beat you by at least double digits, just because of the experience we have to come back, especially on defense.
Yeah.
But week 12 or week 13, I guess it would be by then, with a bye week in between. It's going to be I think this year will be a good matchup. It should be.
Yeah. Which can we both agree that this game should be a night game?
Like, what worries me? You know what the concern is about that, right?
The night game?
Yeah, a night game of Michigan OSU. The drunken fights afterwards.
Oh yeah.
And people have been pre-gaming all day, and they're drinking at the game, and they come out into the parking lot.
I just hate the noon games. Like the noon games, but like the OSU Michigan game, noon game just pissed me off. Yeah. So pumped, and then by 3:00, I'm so freaking drunk, and I got my whole day still. It just pisses me off.
So you just take a nap, and wake up for the
yeah, right,
for the night games.
Right.
Where did he go?
He said he can't rejoin. I just told him you're working on it. Okay.
So,
I just told him you're working on it. Oh, there he is.
hey, welcome back.
Yeah, hotel internet. It's great.
Yay. All right, so we just finished talking about OSU. We wrapped it up. So let's go ahead and move on to Michigan. And Ryan, we're the Michigan guys. I'm going to start off with you, man.
All right, so the biggest loss for Michigan, or the biggest gap to fill, I should say, is going to be their quarterback position. They got Wilton Speet, looks to be filling into that role with no problem. Hopefully he can step in and take over like he's been starting for years. You got Jake Butt returning, Chesson, Darbo. Solid returning starters from the previous years. Peppers coming back. He's probably the most important person on the team. Offense, defense, special teams. It doesn't matter. If he's on the field, he's the best player on the field for the team, no matter what's going on. It's going to be a big year for them. Second year with Harbaugh coming in there, and he's got a lot of hype to build up to live up to from his recruiting class and everything that went on with that. Everybody giving him a bunch of crap on his tactics and everything else, but it's going to be a solid season. I only have them losing one game, and that's to Iowa. So I think they're going to be a solid team this year. And Morgan, this will be the year. You hope it won't be, but it will be the year that Ohio State loses in the shoe.
It could very well be. I mean, we handed it to you guys last year in the Big House, so I mean, it can easily happen again. But like Zach was saying before you came on, if you guys played us in like week 1 and week 2, you would smash us because we're such a young team. But playing us in week 13, once we have some games under our belt, that game's gonna be a lot closer.
I did say that. I said we beat it by.
I'm not arguing with you that it's going to be a tight game, and it doesn't matter if your record coming into that game is, you haven't won a game all year and we're undefeated. It doesn't matter whose record is what coming into that game. That's always a tight game, close game, year in and year out.
Oh yeah.
So you can't look at records and what's happened throughout the season up to that game. I mean, that might as well be week 1 every year.
I remember watching the Ohio State-Michigan game, Braxton Miller's freshman year, and I think that was the Luke Fickell year, and we were just horrible. And Braxton Miller's very, very first year, and we came inches away from possibly winning that game. His throw was just out of the wide receiver's reach, but we were horrible, and that was a close game. And you guys were much, much better than what we were.
All right, Morgan. Let's hear your breakdown of the greatest Big Ten team of all time, the University of Michigan.
All right,
you like that?
That was unnecessary. What?
You like that?
It's perfect. That's why there's 2 of us and 1 of you on this show.
Twice as good.
Well, it takes 2 of you to go after me.
Twice the fans. Twice the fans.
Twice the fans. Shut up. You don't even believe that. You can't look in the mirror and believe that. Shut up.
There's a mirror right there. Twice the fans.
Anyways, well, don't look at it. You'll break it. Anyways, my breakdown. You already took, some of the offense that I was going to talk about. You got Devon. Is that what's it? Devon Smith coming back. Davion Smith coming back at at running back. Well, let me ask you this. Who do you think will be the starting quarterback? Because you got that O'Korn and Shane Morris, and Shane Morris has some playing time. So would you rather see Morris play or that Jake O'Korn?
Shane Morris has concussion time. He doesn't have much playing time. All right, did you forget about that game? No, Shane Morris is a cannon for an arm, but he has 0 touch and cannot. No.
Yeah.
Unless Harbaugh worked his magic on him, this is O'Korn versus Spate all day long.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Jake O'Korn, he started for 6 games when he was at Houston. He had 34 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. So, I mean, that's who I would go with. Switching to the defense, they got 6 starters coming back. Well, no, the biggest thing about their offense that I think is they have 9 of their top 10 linemen coming back. So they have not only the guys to start, but they have the depth too at their offensive line. So that's a huge thing for them. Their defensive line should be and is expected to be one of the best. Glasgow and Moan, is that how you pronounce it? Moan, come back from a injury to go with Wormley and Hurst, and a guy named Taco. And then plus their top recruit, Mr. Mason Yellow. Isn't that what he said? Mason Yellow.
Yeah, Mr. Mason Yellow is already apparently the best D lineman on the freaking team of what is being called the best D line in the country. So you can make fun of how he said it, but when he's wrapping up JT Barrett and throwing him to the ground, you won't be laughing then.
No, but I'm gonna laugh now until it happens. Linebacker, Jabrill Peppers. They're hoping to fill a void. He could be their main guy at the linebacker spot. Secondary they got 3 returners coming back. Second team All-American Jordan Lewis with senior Jeremy Clark and Delano Hill. They only gave up 158 passing yards per game, so it was already a pretty good secondary. Another year, they're going to only get that much better. So, long story short, they're almost the same team as last year. Well, they are pretty much the same team as last year with another year under their belt. So, they're only going to get that much better. So, they were a good team last year. They're only going to get better. So, it should come down to us and you for the Big Ten title. I mean, just overall Big Ten title. They got Penn State and Wisconsin at home, at Michigan State, at Iowa, at the Shoe, and then home against Indiana. That's not a bad schedule. I got Michigan going 10-2. I have them obviously losing to Ohio State. Their other loss I could see being maybe at Iowa or at Michigan State. Could be one of their other losses. Michigan State is going to be that good for this year, but little brother has your number.
Oh, get fucked. Oh, get fucked.
So. Just like we've had your number recently, little brother has your number too. So it could be those two, or it could be at Iowa and at the Shoe. But I got them going 10-2. 7-2 in the conference. So that's what I think about them. They're going to be a much better team, but I think my fandom kind of set in over, actually break down.
You know they're going to go 12-0. They're going to win a national title, and I'm going to slam it in your face.
I will say, if they do go 11-1, I won't be surprised.
All right. Here's my breakdown. I'll do it real quick, as quickly as I possibly can. As important as the running back position is at OSU, the quarterback position, especially in the Jim Harbaugh offense, is just as important. And we have no idea who it's going to be. O'Korn, Spate, Morris, those seem to be a three-headed monster going in, but I think Spate and O'Korn kind of pulling away. My money's on O'Korn, and I think that's the safe bet. We have Hawaii, USC, and Colorado start off the season. You don't need to be a hero as a quarterback in those 3 games. We don't have Utah away this year. Everywhere else, we're stacked on offense. Cheston and Darboh are 2 of the top receivers in the Big Ten. They make plays all over the field. Jake Butt is the best tight end in the country. I'll go ahead and say it now. You can try and dispute it, but facts don't care about your feelings, all right? And like you said, we bring 4 out of 5 back in the O-line, of the starting O-line. Mason Cole, our best offensive lineman, is now moving to center. And this is a O-line that helped pave the way for over 200 yards rushing against Florida in the bowl game. They had one of the top defenses in the country last year. The only reason they were in a bowl game is because of their defense. And we ran them up and down the field. It was the most impressive offensive line display I've seen from Michigan in over a decade. And if they can do that again, we're going to be one of the best teams in the country, hands down. If they don't, and we don't figure out the quarterback position, I could see us going 9-3 or 8-4. Defensively, I'm not too concerned. Defensively, we're stacked on defense. On the D-line, we have the best in the country, hands down. Wormley, Glasgow, Moan, Hurst, Gary, Taco. We have a Bama-type rotation that we could do this year, which is going to be really, really good for us. Linebackers kind of concern me a bit. We're moving Jabrill Peppers there, and he's going to play a little corner and safety too. What concerns me about that is I don't know if we're going to play him offensively now anywhere, and that's kind of where his playmaking skills can really be showcased, is when we give him reverses or toss sweeps or throw him the ball. But he's playing so many spots on defense, it's not logical or even an intelligent thing to put him on offense too. And Channing's dribbling kind of worries me. He's always worried me. He's a big, lengthy corner, but he's kind of dumb. Like his football IQ is just, it's probably the worst in that secondary. We have Jordan Lewis on the other side who's going to be a shutdown corner. You throw to his side, you might as well just walk to the sideline. This man is a freaking ball hawk, and he might be the best, one of the best, if not the best in the country this year, and a first-round draft pick. But it all comes down to our quarterback play. Who's it going to be? How does he manage the game? We're a run-heavy team that plays off play action a lot. How's he going to manage those deep balls? We saw last year when we lost, we couldn't hit a deep ball to save our life. Michigan State, OSU, Utah, all three losses where we hit 0 real deep balls. We had the one in OSU when Apple kind of, no, that was against Florida. Never mind. So right now I have them going 11-1. I have them winning all games except for at Iowa, like Ryan. At Iowa is always tricky for us, even when we are really, really good. I think it's the pink locker room. I'm not really sure. So I have them losing that, but again, I could see them going undefeated. I could see them going 8-4 or 9-3. This year kind of it's one of those years where I'm very excited. It's probably the first year I'm very excited in the last 8 at least. But I'm also extremely, extremely nervous going in as well. I don't really know what to expect.
Well, there's a lot of high expectations for you guys. I mean, there was a lot of people picking you guys to win the Big Ten, to make the playoffs, even compete to go to national championship. So there's a whole lot of pressure right off the bat for you guys to do very well,
Yeah,
which is expected with this team. But
and the last time we had this kind of expectations, 2007. Yeah. What happened in 2007? Appalachian State followed by a beatdown of Oregon at home.
Yep.
So,
which the plus side for this year, you don't have Appalachian State, so
fuck off.
You guys got that going for you.
I'm picking us to go 11-1 and winning the Big Ten, but I was probably a little biased. I won't lie.
I probably was a little bit too.
I mean, it's hard to not be biased. I mean, let's be honest. It's hard to not be biased.
I mean, the Ohio State games, it's a toss-up every year, but I'm not going to say that we're going to lose that game.
It's a toss-up every year, but I think this year it'll be a real big toss-up, especially since that's the last game, and we'll get a bunch of games under our belts with our young guys. We should have it figured out by then. So that one should be a hell of a game.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. Let's run through these last ones pretty quickly. I'm not plugged in, so I don't want my computer to die right in the middle of it all. So let's move on to MSU.
Is there anybody else in the Big Ten that's important?
There's no one else in the Big Ten. Let's talk about these scrubs real quick. All these people battling for third and the rest of place. Let's start off with MSU, little brother. Morgan, I'll go ahead and let you kick it off.
They got only 4 guys coming back on their offense. Tyler O'Connor should start. That's the guy who started the game when they beat us. They lose their top 2 wide receivers. They got senior Shelton coming back. junior tight end Price. They're the only two guys with experience. They got the top 3 rushers coming back. They got the L.J. Scott, who's supposed to be a stud. He should be the workhorse. He averaged 4.8 yards per carry for last year. Had about 700 yards, 11 touchdowns. The offensive line, they lose 3 starters to the draft. The guys that they have coming back only have 42 combined starts, so that could be a big question for them. So they got questions at quarterback. They lose their top 2 wide receivers. They have their running back coming back, but then their O-line's a question mark. So defense, they got 6 starters coming back. The D-line probably is the biggest worry. They suffered the most losses. They got the 3 starters coming back at linebacker. Still trying to find out if Ed Davis got his 6th year. I know he had to graduate to be eligible to play his 6th year. I don't know if he got that yet or not. I haven't heard anything yet. They have 3 starters coming back in the secondary: Hicks, Cox, and Nicholson. So the defensive line may struggle. Linebackers, secondary should be good to go, and the running back. Other than that, there's a lot of question marks on them. So this could be a down year for them. They are at Notre Dame, at Indiana, at Penn State, but they got OSU and Michigan at home. So they could go 10-2, 11-1. They could go 8-4, 7-5.
You're out of your damn mind. What do you have them going? What's your pick?
I have them going 8-4, 6-3 in the conference.
There's no way they go to 11-1. There's no way. Morgan, what do you got? Or Ryan, what do you got?
So like Morgan said, they lost a lot of key players. Expected to start at quarterback is Tyler O'Connor, and they have Damian Terry as a solid second option. But they have nothing in the receiving department. The recruiting class is going to have to step up as far as that's concerned. But they do have a solid running back core with L.J. Scott in a 3-man rotation. He comes in as the best of the 3. And like Morgan said, their secondary linebacker core shouldn't be too bad. They just need to figure out what's going on with the defensive line. I have them going 9-3. 7-2 in the conference, and losing to Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Michigan.
All right. I think you're out of your damn mind too. L.J. Scott.
I might be a little high on him, but
yeah, L.J. Scott better get 30 carries a game. Let's just go ahead and say it now. You guys keep bringing up the linebackers and secondary. They weren't very good last year. Last year was not a very typical MSU defense, and when you lose your best defensive coordinator, he goes to Pittsburgh to be the head coach. You see what happens. So that was the weakest link of their defense last year, and they won games based on their passing offense, and they lost their quarterback, and Burrows really saved most of their games. And there's going to be no freaking hand of football gods coming down to save them against Michigan again. Not going to happen. This team is going to be average, booty, garbage. Little brother, get back in your freaking cave. 7-5, 5-4 in conference.
7-5.
Dang.
Yep. I got them losing to Notre Dame, Indiana, excuse me. I have them losing at Illinois. I'll tell you why at one point. Ohio State, and of course, against the greatest team in the land, Michigan. 7-5, 5-4 in conference. Garbage, mediocre. Stick a fork in them. Get back to your shanties, MSU fans, and go fuck yourself.
It's just hard to be down on a D'Antoni team, though. I mean, he's a great coach. He literally takes these 2-star players and makes them great players. So it's hard to be so down on them.
I can see what you're saying, Zach, but like Morgan said, it's hard to be down on a team that's never a 7-5 team. They find a way to win year in and look at what they did against Michigan last year. They found a way to win. They should have never won that game, but they did.
Zach, I think your fandom's just kicking in.
No, their roster, their schedule, also backs up my claim. They don't have an easy schedule. They have a lot of holes in a lot of areas: offensive line, receiver, quarterback, up front on defense, and their secondary and linebacker. Unless they've drastically improved, they're not very good. So my fandom may take a little bit, but I also have reasons for it as well. Yeah, I'm not just sitting here saying, "They suck. They're going 0-12. Fuck them." No, I'm saying they'll be 7-5, mediocre at best.
Yeah. Well, I got 8-4, so I'm only one game ahead of you.
Their quarterback is not an easy person to replace. He was a pretty damn good
No.
quarterback. So that's what I got. Let's go, Morgan. I know you probably do this too. What's your Big Ten East rundown? Like, how do you have that side of the conference shaping out?
I got OSU 11-1, winning at 9-0 the conference. I got you guys at 10-2, 7-2 in the conference. I got Indiana at 10-2. I don't know why. I just got this crazy feeling that they're going to be not a bad team. So I got them at 10-2, 7-2 in the conference. Michigan 8-4, 6-3 in the conference. Penn State 8-4, 5-4 in conference. They were a tough team to figure out too. I got Maryland at 5-7, 2-7 in conference, and Rutgers still brings up the rear, 3-9, 1-8 in conference.
All right, I did Michigan 11-1, 8-1 in conference, winning it. OSU 10-2, 8-1 conference. Indiana 9-3, 6-3 in conference. So I'm kind of there with you. So MSU 7-5, 5-4 in conference. Penn State 5-7, 3-9 in conference. Maryland 5-7, 2-7 in conference, same as you. And Rutgers, I have it 2-10 and 0-9 in conference. So we're pretty spot on. Just flip to Michigan, and you might be right.
I had to give. I had to give the Scarlet Knights at least one game.
Nah,
I don't know where, but I'll give them one game.
they don't play Purdue, so no. Let's move over to the Big Ten West and start off with the defending Big Ten West champions, Iowa. Brian?
Yeah, so last year, their offense wasn't an explosive offense. I mean, they made solid plays. They moved the ball, they moved the chains, and they didn't have a problem doing that. But it wasn't anything fancy. They just got the job done one play at a time. You got CJ Beathard coming in as quarterback, second season. So he should be a little bit more comfortable in the offense, able to make bigger plays, maybe have more explosive plays. You got Matt Vandenberg coming in as a returning receiver, should be his number one target this season. It should have a solid run game. You got Daniels and Wadley, both sharing carries. In the secondary, you got Desmond King as cornerback, coming off season with 8 picks and 13 broken passes. Chances are he's not going to get a lot of balls thrown his way this year, but he's going to need to have a solid season in their secondary for their defense to be what it was. I got him going 10-2, 7-2 in the conference, losing to Wisconsin and Nebraska.
Morgan, how about yourself?
They got 13 starters coming back. Their whole offensive line's coming back. Their leading receivers coming back. Quarterback's coming back for his senior year. This is going to be a hell of a team, and their schedule is favorable. They're home against the Badgers, at Penn State, and then home against you guys, and home against Nebraska. That's a easy 11-1, 12-0 schedule. Easy. There was no way they should not at least make the Big Ten title game.
Your pick?
For Iowa, I got them going. I got them going 11-1.
Yeah. All right. Defense is gonna be.
Well, their one loss. I think their one loss will either be home against you guys or at Penn State will be the loss. One of those two.
All right. Defense is going to be the name of the game at Iowa. It most often is. Run the ball, play good defense. That's how they do. Desmond King is a freaking beast. I have them going 11-1 as well. My loss, though, is at Minnesota. I think Minnesota is going to pull the upset at home against Iowa. But I had them going 11-1 and going to the Big Ten title game against Michigan.
It's not bad. I'm actually curious to see what your take is on Minnesota.
Minnesota. We going Nebraska next, or you guys want Wisconsin next?
We'll
Go Nebraska.
Okay. Cornhuskers. Morgan, break it down.
Cornhuskers. They also got 13 guys coming back. So last year, right? So this is almost the same team coming back. Last year, they were 5 plays away from being 11-2. They lost 5 games in the final seconds. So their season could have been completely flipped, and they could have been an 11-2 team fighting for a Big Ten championship game. They got Armstrong coming back at quarterback, threw for over 3,000 yards, 22 touchdowns. He has 16 picks though. That's going to be his downfall. He has to figure out his picks. He also rushed 400 yards, 7 touchdowns. Their leading rusher, Newby's coming back, rushed 765 yards, 6 touchdowns. He averaged 5.2 yards per carry. Their top receivers they got coming back. They got second team All Big Ten, Jordan Westerkamp coming back. They got 2 seniors, Riley and Moore, and a senior tight end. They got questions on their O-line, though. They only have 2 starters coming back. So that could be a huge question mark for them on their offensive end, is their O-line. They got 6 guys coming back on their defense. They have 4 new starters on their D-line, which will be the top 2 defensive line guys, Carlos and Cahill Davis, the brothers. They got 3 starters at linebacker, then 3 starters back in the secondary. So their only questions are going to be the offensive and defensive line. Other than that, they should be set. They're home against Oregon, and then they're at Indiana, at Wisconsin, at Ohio State, and at Iowa. So they have 4 tough road games. So depending on how they play in those road games, they could go 12-0, or they could be 8-4. I have them at 10-2, 7-2 in the conference.
Ryan, how about you?
Like Morgan said, they got a ton of returning starters. Armstrong's coming back. He's got his number 1 receiver, hoping to be Westerkamp, and you got running back Newby coming back. Morgan said the offensive line is going to need some adjustments. They lost a bunch of starters. Only got a couple guys coming back there. You got Nate Gary in the secondary. He's going to have a bigger season than he did last year. And then you got a couple guys on the defensive line returning. But those, both their offensive and defensive line are going to be their weakest links. I have them going 9-3, 7-2 in the conference, losing to Oregon, Wisconsin, and Ohio State.
Tommy Armstrong's really going to have to avoid the mistakes this year for them to really be successful. You mentioned their season last year, Morgan, but they had a pretty favorable schedule last year. They had Iowa at home, Michigan State at home, Northwestern at home, Wisconsin at home. At Minnesota was probably the toughest game all year. They had 4 non-conference games, BYU, South Alabama, Miami of Ohio, and Southern Miss. We've moved to that 9 conference game, 3 non-conference games now this year. And this year it's going to be a tough schedule, like you mentioned. I have them going 7-5, losing all the 5 games you mentioned. Well, I have them losing the 5 games you mentioned: Oregon at home, and then the 4 away games: Iowa, Ohio State, Wisconsin, and at Indiana. So I have them losing all those games that you mentioned, and the schedule is the reason why. So I have them going 7-5, 5-4 in conference.
I had to really think about them, because when I first ran down my list, I'm not gonna lie, I did have them at 7-5, and I had them at 5-4 in the conference. So I just don't see that happening. Now it can happen, but I don't see it happening.
All right, well, I'll be right, you'll be wrong, as always, so I'll have bragging rights at the end of the year. Let's move on to Wisconsin. The mighty Badgers without a quarterback. Morgan, break it down.
Wisconsin. Their quarterback is expected to be fifth-year senior Bart Houston.
Who?
Bart Houston?
Nobody knows who the fuck that is.
No. They have experience and depth at their O-line. They got healthy Corey Clement coming back at running back. He damn near rushed for 1,000 yards behind Melvin Gordon just a couple years ago. Last year was supposed to be the guy, but he got injured, so it's supposed to be the guy for this year. They got senior Robert Wheelwright. Looks to be the man at wide receiver with Jazz Peavy. They got 7 guys coming back on the defensive end. Sorry, they got 7 guys coming back on offense too. But they got 7 guys coming back on defense. 3 of the 4 stars coming back at linebacker, including second-team All-Big Ten Vince Bleagle. And only 1 returning starter in the secondary is senior Shelton. So
You got to mention that schedule. There's a 4-game block where they're going to have the worst fucking time.
yeah, well, you could say 5-game. I mean,
You could say 5, yeah.
yeah. LSU just starting off, but then they're at Michigan State, at you guys, at Ohio State, at Iowa, home against Nebraska.
5 straight games.
Did I say home versus OSU? Well, they're
You
home.
said they're away against OSU. They're in the horseshoe. No, they're home. You're right. Never mind. They're home
Yeah, I'll say yeah. They're
for
home.
that one. Yeah.
But that's a tough 5-game stretch to go back to back to back to back to back.
What do you have them at?
I moved them down. I have them at 6-3 in the conference, 8-4.
Ryan, how about you?
So, like Morgan said, I got Corey Clement returning this year. Should have been number 1 back last season, but he was injured. So, hopefully, he can come in and have the season like he had a couple years ago. That's going to be depending on the receivers being able to take pressure off the run game. Quarterback's still a question. It's either going to be Houston or Hornbrook. Nobody's really sure. Receiving corps is going to have to step up and figure out what they're going to do as far as offense goes. I mean, the only solid person they have right now is Corey Clement. So hopefully he can at least help carry the offense. I have them going 9-3 and 7-2 in the conference, losing to LSU, Michigan State, and Michigan.
You haven't beat. Oh, that's right. You hadn't beaten OSU.
Yep.
Forgot about that. They need to find a damn passing offense for Wisconsin, man. LSU did it to them 2 years ago in the opening game, where they just loaded the box and they couldn't do anything. And I think they're going to do it again this year. And Clement has to stay healthy, otherwise we're looking at a disastrous year. I have them going 7-5. I have them losing to LSU and losing 4 games in a row at Michigan State, at Michigan, Ohio State, and at Iowa. 7-5, 5-4 in conference. That schedule is freaking brutal.
That is a tough schedule.
Yeah.
That's rough.
All right, now I want to hear your breakdown of Minnesota.
Minnesota has Mitch Ladner. You guys know my love of quarterbacks, all right?
Yep.
Mitch Ladner is probably one of the best in the conference. He's a dual threat guy. He's a senior. And they have Brooks behind him, who's a very, very talented running back. And they're returning 8 guys on defense. Hold on. 7 guys on defense, sorry. And again, I look at schedules too. Their schedule's pretty easy. Oregon State, Indiana State, Colorado State, Iowa at home, and then at Wisconsin at the end of the year. Like they literally have at Maryland, Rutgers, Illinois, Purdue, and Nebraska, Northwestern. Well, I'm not as high in Nebraska as you guys are, so I look at that as a 6-game stretch of potential W's all down the road. I have them going 9-3. I have them losing to Purdue. No, never mind. I have them losing the last 3 at Nebraska, Northwestern, and at Wisconsin. I have them at 9-0 going up to those games, though. And
Wow.
I am a little quarterback biased. I'm a pass-happy guy, and I think Mitch Ladner is the type of leader that he showed it last year in the Michigan game, too. They almost pulled that one out, too, last year against Michigan. So I like him a lot as a quarterback, and I like Brooks in the backfield. So I have 9-3, 6-3 in conference, and they are my number 2 in the West.
I got them at 7-5, 5-4 in conference.
I'm a quarterback guy, man. It's my thing. That's why I have Illinois beating people too, because I like West Lund. I like West Lund a lot.
So what's your West rundown?
I got Iowa 11-1, 8-1 in conference. Minnesota 9-3, 6-3 in conference. Wisconsin 7-5, 5-4 in conference. Nebraska 7-5, 5-4 in conference. Northwestern 7-5, 4-5 in conference. Illinois 6-6, 3-6 in conference. And the lowly Boilermakers 2-10, 0-9 in conference.
So our West is really different. I mean, our East is almost similar, but our West is different. I have Iowa 11-1, 8-1 in conference. Nebraska at 10-2, 7-2 in conference. Wisconsin 8-4, 6-3 in conference. Minnesota 7-5, 5-4 in conference. Northwestern 6-6, 5-4 in conference. Illinois 4-8, 2-7 in conference. And bringing up the rear, as always, Purdue 3-9, 1-8 in conference.
You keep giving these guys one win. It's not going to happen. Purdue and Rutgers are just garbage, man. These bad teams.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So,
that's our...
Overall, what do you guys think about the Big Ten as a conference?
I think it's pretty weaker this year.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't think it's a very tough conference this year. To tell you the truth. Top to bottom, I don't think we're very good.
No,
not overall.
I think top, we're pretty good. I think Iowa's good. I think we're going to be good. I think OSU is going to be good.
There's like 4 or 5 top, that are, I'd say 4 solid teams, and everybody else is wishy-washy after that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bad bowl year for us too, depending on what bowls we get. But I don't see us being very dominant in the bowl circuit. This is preseason though, so we could come out and Minnesota could be great. Illinois could be tough. Indiana might be top notch. You never fucking know. But looking into it, I don't see us being very tough.
No. I mean, outside of Ohio State, you guys, and Iowa. I have Indiana at 10-2 and Nebraska at 10-2 also. But I think the top 3 is going to be you guys, Iowa, and Ohio State. So.
Yeah, if Iowa doesn't run away
in that order.
Yeah, you're right. In that order. If Iowa doesn't run away with the West, that's a pretty bad year for Ferentz, man. I tell you what, and he might be on the outs if he doesn't take the West again.
Oh yeah,
pretty shitty. Go to the Big Ten title game. Go to the Rose Bowl. Next year, get fired. But that's the way of the land these days.
Yeah, I think real expectations should be for them is easily to make a playoff spot. I mean, they could easily make a playoff run.
Well, they got to beat you or us in the title game, and I don't think it's gonna happen.
No. So obviously, you guys' title games, you guys in Iowa is what you guys have.
Go ahead and say my name, bitch.
So I'm assuming that you guys have in the playoffs.
Say my name.
You guys have that team up north in the playoffs then?
I'm okay with that. You can say that. Yes. I have Michigan. Okay. I have Michigan 12-1 as Big Ten titles in the playoff game. Yes.
Okay.
And winning it all.
So ours, that's just ridiculous.
Do you really think that's ridiculous?
It's not.
If we beat you guys and win the Big Ten, you don't think we can beat Alabama this year? Or Clemson? Clemson would be tough. Clemson would be a good match.
Yeah, you got Bama, Clemson, Florida State's going to be tough. LSU could be tough.
I think we could beat LSU and Florida State. I definitely think we can beat Alabama.
Oklahoma runs the table. I mean, I can give you the preseason standings right now if you want.
We ain't got time for that. Nobody wants to hear it.
The full AP top 25.
Nobody wants to hear it.
Hold on.
I'm running low on battery. We got to wrap this up. I'm running low on battery. I'm not plugged in, so.
Let me ask you a quick question. The AP poll, hate it or love it?
I hate. I make jokes about. Okay, I'll say it now. I talk shit about the way too early preseason poll as a joke because we were ahead of OSU. I absolutely disdain preseason polls. I think it gives advantages to the teams at top, to certain teams. Let's be honest. Because if you have a conference like, say, the SEC that has 7 teams in the preseason top 25 poll, well, when they beat each other up, you're like, oh, well, they're a great team. They played them. They were number 12 in the nation. They end up going 8-4 or 7-5.
Yeah.
They're not number 12 in the nation. They're not very good, but that team gets the benefit of beating the number 12 team in the nation. Preseason polls need to go away, and they don't need to start polling until week fucking 6.
Okay.
That's how I feel.
Okay. Should I just do away with the AP poll then?
Yeah, they definitely should. They should do away with all polls but the playoff poll starting week 6 or week 7.
All right. So AP poll doesn't matter. Say it. Say the AP poll doesn't matter.
I know I just said all preseason polls don't matter.
No, not
You heard it here first.
Not just preseason, but AP poll as a whole doesn't matter.
AP poll does not matter.
Okay, then your '97 championship doesn't matter then.
We're talking. You're a fucking moron. We're talking about the current year, you dipshit.
Your championship don't matter then. Goodbye. Cut it off.
Hold on.
AP poll don't matter.
Hold on.
Championship don't matter.
Hold on.
You're an idiot.
Does the BCS matter? Were you a fan of the BCS?
It doesn't matter because we won a championship in the very first playoff, so it don't
That's
matter.
not the question. That's not the question.
And all your
The BCS.
and all your
the BCS was the greatest thing ever.
You're a fucking liar. And if AP doesn't matter, then all of your titles before those two don't matter. So that means your greatest coach in the history never won a title.
So if no polls matter until the playoffs, then we're one up.
Well, I actually think you're right. I don't even think this playoff system is good. This is a whole different conversation, but I want to say it real quick.
It is.
There has never been a true national title in college football. Ever.
No.
Ever. Even with the 4 teams.
That's another topic for another day, though.
Even with the 4 teams, we could argue that the last 2 years, the best 4 teams wouldn't make it every year. We could.
Well, let's debate that for next episode then.
We could do that. We could talk a little NFL. There's a couple of good first week games I want to break down, and then we can get a debate.
All right. Oh, Uncle T.
Join our fantasy
invite.
You're the last one, bro.
Invite.
Huge.
Oh, we still have an opening there?
Well, Uncle Tom's the opening. He just hasn't. He got the email. I just never accepted the email. It's probably in his spam. It's always in his freaking spam. I always got to remind that man. All right, so that's our show. It's our Big Ten breakdown. Michigan's gonna win everything because we're awesome. OSU sucks. Correct. It's going 0-12. Morgan, Ryan, thanks for joining me tonight.
Fucking delusional.
As fun as always. Morgan's an idiot. We already knew.
Fucking moron.
Even though you just said AP poll don't matter.
In the
97 championship.
In the current year, you are correct.
Goodbye.
Until next week, you guys take it easy.
Later.